And you guys feel free to ask questions as we're painting, and don't be afraid to talk or, you know, ask questions or tell me to slow down if I'm going too fast. There's a pencil for you. I'll put that. Oh, I should get the reference photo, huh? Okay.
YouTube is struggling again, so.
Well, let's hope it. May.
Speed warning. So we're live on Facebook.
Okay, I'm gonna go get.
Huh? You don't want to tell it? You want me to tell the joke? Say, why can't flowers ride a bicycle?
Why?
Because they lost their petals.
I was thinking so hard.
Nicole is like, I'm going to figure this one out. I'm gonna get this one.
But wait, there's more.
There's more jokes?
Yes.
What did the bee say to the flower? Hey, honey.
That's cute. I love that. Nicole, you just start crying. You're like, that's so sweet. Let me get one more reference photo and then I'll sit down. Okay.
Welcome everybody. Sarah is not in front of the camera, but we'll be talking to you this evening from behind the scenes.
You're the commentator.
Yes.
Al.
Hello, Al. How are you? Welcome.
Oh, where are you?
Hello. How are you doing? Good.
Dre's on her way in.
Okay, and then there's one over here for you guys to look at too.
All good.
That's all right. Okay.
You're good. You do your thing.
Okay.
Drea, welcome.
You're all the way to the left.
If you could sit, yep, thank you. What?
I honestly think we're like almost out. You can get the ones from the bathroom though. Okay.
We are.
Yes.
Welcome to the live. Drea.
Drea, this is Emily. This is Madison.
Hello, Pat.
This is Jessica.
Hello.
This is Drea.
Hi. Hi, Dre.
Okay. Oh, I need to
So
put
Sarah, I
paint
don't think YouTube is
It's not working
getting
still?
our stream still. Oh, nope, it's back.
It's good?
online now. Yep, we're good.
You have enough. I can get your
Thanks, Nicole.
We just need better internet.
Yeah. Okay, let me pull up.
Are you guys gonna, is this gonna be yours only, or are you gonna show Matt?
How you doing? Good. I like your little head nod with that too. You're like, good.
I don't even touch it.
Oh man, I forgot. I forgot about the sleeves, Keenan.
So it's fine if I pat.
I'm so sorry I didn't remind you about the sleeves.
You gotta roll them up.
I'm just,
Roll those up.
just like tuck them in.
Tuck them in.
They didn't
I wonder what that would look like.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not.
Yep, you
The
are.
dog looks like the lavender.
Wait, let's pull up the video and see how it
Did you do
looks.
one? Just explain yourself.
Just
This is
explain.
what it normally looks like.
This is how cute it is.
Yeah.
Just like tuck them.
And nice. Ooh, everyone's on these.
Al says hi.
Oh,
Camel
Ellen.
comment is on.
Hey, how's it going? Good.
Okay, does this look funny with them rolled up?
Ridiculous.
No. Damn.
That's why I'm here.
I'm gonna wait to see what people comment. They tell me the truth, Keenan.
Oh my gosh, I love your ears.
I think it'd be acceptable if
thanks.
you put a pack of cigarettes in there.
Just like it.
Oh yeah.
Or my paintbrushes or like bottles of paint. And be like,
yeah.
you want some?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's put some colors on our palette.
North Carolina's here.
Ellensburg, Washington. That's where my family's from.
Oh, people are watching in their new Not Mad About It shirts.
I
Yes.
have to order mine like a fool.
Oh, yes.
You're
Emily
such.
is-
We still have them.
Okay.
You can still order them. I should have worn mine, but honestly, I wore it yesterday and it is smelly and I need to wash it. So,
I need to get new deodorant.
Brittany says, adorable, Sarah.
oh, for my sleeves?
Sleeves, I think it's the sleeves.
Okay, great. Thanks. Thanks, Brittany. Wait, what did you say?
I need to get new deodorant.
I literally just had Nicole go and buy me some because I forgot to put some on
I
right
feel like
before
that's
the
your,
live.
that's
That-
your thing.
That's what Nicole said. She's like, how do you keep doing this every time? And I'm like, I don't know. Can you go buy me some?
Do you keep it in your purse?
Well, now I keep it in my desk.
Now it's gonna be here.
Now it's going to be here. I'm going to have like a Studio One on the shelf.
We'll just have a bathroom ready to go.
Yeah.
Whatever anybody.
Okay, I'm going to put paint on here.
I want to do it.
You want to do it? Okay. These are all the colors you need. Just do a couple little squirts, space them out.
Mommy always says 2 squirts.
That's perfect. I love it.
Are you guys from the area?
We actually live in Pleasant Hill. which
How?
is
Where is that?
Hour and a half south of
Okay.
here. So,
South. So are you still kind of in the Kansas City?
yeah, just a
area?
little bit more southeast of Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sweet. Did you come up here just for this?
pretty much, yeah.
Awesome. That's
Yeah,
great.
isn't that great?
We move around a lot. We're military, so we, figure while we're living this state, we might as well do it.
Yeah. Aisha said there's a thing as deodorant wipes.
There is. I just saw those on Target.
What are they?
I don't know, but they're on Target. I saw them.
Okay.
It's by Pacifica.
Is it like just a regular wipe?
It looks like they're in a face wipe package, but it's
That makes
deodorant
so much
wipes.
sense. Just
Is it just for cleaning or does it leave a residue like regular deodorant?
You know,
I
I
missed
don't
something.
know.
What are we talking about?
Deodorant wipes. Aisha, answer.
Deodorant rather than like antiperspirant.
Conda,
Probably.
That's my neighbor. Hi, Conda.
Yeah,
Where's the
deodorant
camera?
rather than-
There it is.
Yeah.
Right, no?
Okay.
Emily, do you have yours?
Okay.
We're at 7:15.
Oh, we are? Oh my gosh, I'm just ready now.
perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Okay. Welcome everybody to Let's Make Art. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We have a very fun night planned ahead with a lot of fun people, and we're doing this project. Ooh, yes, it's a lot of fun. We're doing our floral hand. Beautiful. And let's introduce everybody. So I'm Sarah Cray. That's Madison. We have Jessica all the way at the end. Madison, Emily's right here next to me. Madison, how old are you? 5?
No.
6?
She'll be 7 in 2 weeks.
You'll be 7 in 2 weeks.
Happy early birthday.
And how old are you, Emily?
8.
8? Well, I'm so glad you guys are here tonight. We're gonna have so much fun. And this is Drea. How old are you, Drea?
I forget. I'm in my 30s.
And we have Keenan working the cameras. That's the voice you'll hear.
As per usual, in the background.
Yes, we have Nicole, who's here for emotional support. And we also have Chris, who's also here for emotional support.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Wonderful. So, we have 5 colors tonight. So, the colors that we are using are, we have pine green, sea blue, orchid, yellow ochre, lemon yellow. Did I get those right, Keenan? The bottles are over there.
I remember checking what the colors were, and now I've forgotten. So I'm glad you remembered that.
Yeah, I got it. And so basically what we're looking for is like a pinky purple, a yellow, a green, a blue, and kind of like a brownish yellow. That's what yellow ochre is pretty much. But of course you can customize this project. You can use whatever supplies you have at home. So don't let this stop you if you don't have the right colors. You can just adjust the colors and make it your own, and that's so great. We have 5 steps in this project. So the very first thing we are going to do is we are going to outline our hand. Second step, we are going to put in the big florals and leaves. Third step, we will do the medium florals and leaves. Fourth step are the tiny little ones, tiny little flowers, leaves. And then the 5th step is kind of blending the colors out so we create that outline without actually having to do an outline. So pretty fun. Okay. We got to do our oath though before we start. So if everyone can raise their right hand and repeat after me. Madison's like not doing it. I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
I promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
I promise to have fun.
That one, shoot, Madison's like, I'm good with that.
Madison's like, yes, I did.
Okay, great. So if you have a pencil handy, we'll start. Oh, no, we got to do warm-ups. Sorry about that, guys. Let's do some warm-ups. Okay, so we are using 2 brushes tonight. We're using around 6 and around 2. These are our go-to brushes. We like them a lot. However, you can use whatever brushes you have. She likes flats. I still like rounds. You can make your own choices. So the first thing that we are going to practice is I just want to practice a value transition from dark to light. And the wonderful thing about watercolor is to get a lighter value, we don't need to add white paint like we do in oil or acrylic. We just add more water. And the white of the paper shows through more, which then creates the lighter value. It's really wonderful. So the first thing we're going to do is get our paintbrush wet. And then hit it off the side of the cup because we don't want it too wet. We don't want it dripping. Then I'm going to pick up a color, whatever color you care for. And I'm going to start by doing kind of like a rectangle. And this is our darker value. This is where we have the most paint, okay? And then I'm going to dip my paintbrush a couple of times, hit it off the side of my cup, and right where I left off, I'm going to start from there and keep going to the right. And I'm going to go a little bit, and then I dip again. Hit it off the side of the cup, start right where I left off, keep going. If you're left-handed, you can do it the opposite way if that's easier for you. And just keep on going until you don't have any more color. And this is a value transition here. So if you're looking at our values, this area is our dark values here. This is more of our medium, well, maybe more to here. And then this is our light values. So when I'm talking about values, and you can see here in our reference that we have all 3. We have some really dark areas, we have some medium areas, and we have some very, very light areas.
Pull that closer to the molding paper.
This?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pictures right above it.
Oh yeah, thank you. So when you're painting, you want to try and have at least 3 different value ranges in your painting. It gives it a little bit more depth and it gives it visual interest. So there is that. Next thing that we are going to do is we're actually going to practice leaves. So if you want to keep using your round 6 or if you want to switch to your round 2, do whatever you would like. I'm going to get it wet. And with leaves, there's a couple different ways to do them. One way is you can actually draw the outline of the individual leaf and then fill it in, which is something that I do. Or you can use a larger brush and do it in one stroke. So I'll show you how to do both. So I'm going to grab my paintbrush, and you can use whatever color. We're just doing warm-ups. So when you're doing leaves, you want to try and have them kind of narrow in at the top and the bottom. So I like to do basically a curved line and then another curved line and then just fill it in. And then after I usually like to start with my top leaf first and then do my stem. So from the bottom of that leaf, I'm going to do my stem. I try and keep my stems pretty thin. I like thin lines. So to do a thin line, you're gonna wanna hold your brush vertical, so you're right on the tip, and you're gonna do really light pressure. And so if you wanna practice that a couple of times, feel free to. And after I have my stem, I then do the leaves off of the stem. And it's the same way, I'm just kind of outlining them and then filling them in. Heed? Okay.
I was like, what?
There's like, what? And if you want to have them so the leaves are symmetrical, which means that they mirror each other, you can. Or if you want them asymmetrical and they're kind of off center from each other, you can do it that way too. There's so many different kinds and different ways to play with this, so just have fun. The other ways that you can do a leaf, and this is better with a larger brush, is you can do it in one stroke. And this is why I think round brushes are so fantastic, is you can get a thick line and a thin line in the same stroke, just depending on your pressure. So I get my brush, and you can use a 10, like you just want to use larger brushes for this. Get it wet, grab some color. I'm going to start off light pressure, and then I push down, and then I lift up light pressure, and there's a leaf. Yep, yeah. And if you need to do it a little bit slower or I mean, this is actually a little bit harder to do. So if you try this and you're like, no, I like outlining him and filling him in better, do that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I mix it up for both. So you just, again, it's going to be more vertical hold, really light pressure. Then I push down, get a really, really thick, and then thin it. Like that. And you can do that a couple of times. And if you need to reshape them after you do this, that's fine. I do that too. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I was timid in pressing down. It looked like a sausage. So you have to like press down like kind of hard. It's like a sausage link. You have to press down kind of hard.
Yeah, so don't be afraid of pressing down too hard. These brushes snap back really well. Maybe even going at it like using from the side a little bit. But it kind of reminds me of the brush pens that Nicole uses in the hand lettering box, where like push down on it and it's okay. Like don't be afraid to, you know, smush it a little bit. Okay. So those are leaves, and essentially it's this same thing, except if you want, you can do them big, you can do them really small, or you can make the leaves a little bit longer. Like if you want more like of a tropical feeling leaf, then that's when you're kind of going to do like the ferns almost, where it's really long and skinny, like that. I don't know, they remind me of tropical leaves. So, but it's the same idea.
I think we need to have Jessica say hello again because we can't see her on the front. Do a big lean. Do a big lean. There you go.
Did you see her?
Got her.
Okay, now we're going to practice some flowers. So we have quite a few different flowers going on here. I'm trying to think if I should go over all of them. I'll go over them. Okay, so the first one we're going to practice is a rose. Which is our bigger flowers here. And basically what I try and do is, if you think of roses, when they're in bloom, they are unfurl from the center, okay? And then the petals at the end are the ones that fall off and die as they bloom. So when you think of a rose, just think of the center is usually tight, which means that the petals are going to be closer together and smaller, the petal lines. And then as you go out on that rose, as the petals unfurl, they get farther away from each other and they are bigger because they're not folded in tight. They've unfolded. So grab a color, any color you want. You okay? Keenan, can you calm down, please?
Really excited about choosing
You
any
love
color.
roses, you love flowers.
Flowers are still great.
Okay, so I'm going to just start with the kind of dot in the middle and just do small lines around, okay? And then as I add more, Keenan, should we switch the close-up camera on this actually?
Sure.
I'm gonna actually get a new paper because I know that flowers are sometimes a struggle. So I'm gonna do it a little bit bigger so you guys can hopefully see better.
Just mind your head.
Heed?
Head.
Okay. Is this a good
Yes, that's a good
place?
spot.
Okay, so if this is like my center, okay, and then I'm gonna do lines coming around it, and they're alternating or they're staggered, okay? So you don't want your petals to stack up on each other because they kind of unfurl around, okay? Now my lines are starting to get longer. The space is getting a little bit bigger in between them. And now what I like to do is get my brush wet and I mimic those same lines that I just made. I'm gonna do that same thing and just smear some of this around. Now I'm lifting up my paintbrush because I still want some of these highlights. And then I'm gonna do a few more petal lines with just this like really light wash that I have going on here. Very nice, very nice. Another thing that you can do if you're still struggling with this that also works just fine is you just do a swirl. So I'm going to start with the dot and then I'm just going to swirl around. Okay. And then go in there and I'm just going to kind of do some swoops around. And that's still going to give you a rose kind of feel. So if you're struggling with the alternating lines and the swirl is just a little bit easier for you, I think they look great. And this is where I know I talk about how like brains kind of trick us when we're painting, and they do, but it can also work to our benefit. So for example, our brain, especially when it's around green leaves and it's colored and it's around other like natural elements, our brain will automatically say, oh, that's a flower. So it works to our favor sometimes because sometimes we freak out because we're like, oh, that one flower looks kind of funny. But when it's surrounded by all these other flowers and leaves, your brain doesn't pick out that one flower when you're viewing someone else's work. It will automatically be like, oh, that's a flower. It belongs there. You're good. So don't stress about things like that too much. Now, when you're doing one on the side, it's the same thing, except we basically do more of the lines on one side to show that we're seeing more of one side than the other, and it's tilted. So I'm going to start with the center. Amy asked, do I rinse before doing the wash? Yes, Amy, I'll rinse my brush, so it's mostly just water, and I'll pat it on my cup so it's not too wet, and then I'll start to blend or do those brush strokes. Okay, so I start with my center and I'm going to do small little lines around it. And then I'm going to work on the bottom. I'm going to do more lines on the bottom and leave the top alone. So when you do more on one side than the other, then that gives the illusion that it's turning. And so after I do my lines, I take my damp brush and I kind of swoop around. Now this one, and you can tell this one because it's even, we're looking on top of it and it's like a right over our, like we're looking over it. This one, it looks like it's turning away from us because we're not seeing this other side of it. Very nice, that looks great. Okay.
Rhea Suzanne says hi.
Hello, Suzanne.
Hello. Okay, I think we'll just go over the poppy and then we should just go for it, okay? So there's a bunch of different versions of poppies. There's a bunch of different kinds. I'm from California, so there's the golden poppies there are a little bit differently shaped than maybe what other people are used to. But essentially it's basically like really thin petals that are kind of curled up, like, hold on, let me try and paint one. So like usually they're kind of a little bit wider on the top and then they have it like curls up around here. That looks a little bit more like a tulip. But it's basically like 4 petals that meet at the bottom and are kind of intertwined with each other. So I wish, Keenan, is there any way we can post a picture of a poppy? Nicole.
On it.
Just do golden poppy on the Facebook comments. Okay, we'll see if we can post a picture.
That's like a child.
What?
It costs more than a child, actually.
So they're a little round. She'll post it. She'll post a picture. That looks a little bit more like that.
So does it like, so say this is like from the stem, it goes up like that?
It doesn't furl in, like the petals don't curve in at the top. The petals stay traditionally. So when it's really tight, it's tight like this. And then as it unfurls, it kind of like, so it kind of like starts to turn, like how usually petals unfold, but the petals stay usually straight up. And then when they're in full bloom, they're wide on the top.
Okay.
Okay. But if you don't like those flowers, you can do a different flower. That's okay. So I'm doing one that's just started to kind of unfurl. Okay. So it's basically, or maybe it's called a California poppy. I thought they were golden poppies, but.
It is I don't know if you can read it.
We're struggling on the photos.
Sue's from California. Can you comment a photo?
California poppy.
Okay, so essentially what I'm going to do is it's going to be kind of a rounded bottom, and then it's going to go up wide at the top, kind of like that. It almost looks like a foot outline, doesn't it? Doesn't that kind of look like a foot? Yeah, just a little footprint. Then I'm going to fill it in. That's just one side of the petal that we're seeing. And then there's petals that kind of come in around it, but I want to show that there's a center, so I'm going to leave like the top middle white. Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're always in different stages of bloom, so it's okay. Like sometimes they even are really tight, kind of like this, and then have kind of a roll right here. So it's kind of like a do-do-do-do. And that's them when they're about to bloom.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Okay. Okay. I think we should just,
Surprisingly difficult task.
I didn't know it'd be so hard.
Want to just show it?
You want to show us how to do it?
No, I'm not.
You can leave.
Keenan, are you telling me just to be better at my job? Do you just want to show us? Can't you just paint it? No, it's on the side. That's from overhead. Can you do one on the side?
Okay. That's easier to visualize. Well, because I saw the picture.
Yeah, that one's a little bit more in bloom.
Okay.
Is there one like in between bloom? Oh, here we go. Michelle put one up.
Oh,
Michelle, oh, she did a GIF.
Oh.
Can you post GIFs?
You can post GIF, but you can't post
Pictures.
Weird.
So interesting. Michelle, thank you. So those ones are a little bit more in bloom because they're wider in at the top. But yeah, I don't know if that's any more helpful. Let's just get to painting. Let's do this. Okay.
Duh.
She just put the link in.
Come on, IT.
Okay, we're going to start off by taking a pencil and doing our outline. I'm going to take off my rings. You did 2 hands? Perfect. Okay. Now, just be aware of however wide you place your fingers. Like, it's an outline so people will know. You know what I mean? Like, the first time I did this project, I did this because this is what I'm used to. And then after I painted it, I was like, that looks pretty intense. I wanted it to look a little, yeah. Yeah. If you could do a natural little slap on the.
There we go.
So, and I'm going to move mine up a little bit so it's center.
What if you painted your hand first and then slapped the paper?
Like a stamp.
Yeah.
Okay, there actually is an artist that does full-on realistic paintings on his hand, smacks it on the canvas, so it's hand texture with a super detailed painting. It is gorgeous.
That's incredible.
I will show you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Can we link that to the comments?
Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to take my pencil and start outlining. Try and do it light. if you have a watercolor,
Are you going all the way down to?
I'm going all the way down.
Okay.
But what you can do if you don't want a really long arm is keep it closer to the bottom and then just trim the top. Also, my knuckles are really thick because I crack my knuckles. That's a thing.
I don't think that's why.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
If you crack your knuckles get bigger.
That's what my mom wants.
I
Yeah.
thought it was a wives' tale.
I think
No, the
that's a
wives'
myth.
tale is that it will cause arthritis. Arthritis.
Fake fact. Hashtag fake fact.
I read it in a doctor's office, okay?
Oh. That makes it accurate.
Okay. I'll do mine darker so you guys can actually see on the, I was going to say on the telly.
What bridges now?
Listen, I went to Europe and I'm really cultured now.
That's true.
Mine has bent pinky.
You have a bent
I
pinky?
have bent pinky.
Oh no! How long ago did you break your pinky?
Both of them are that way. It's just me.
Oh really? I'm sorry, I thought you said you broke it.
I have two older brothers and older sisters, so maybe something did happen that nobody told me.
Well, that's all right. I got my thick knuckles.
I've got a fact for you I'd like to share.
I love facts.
Is it harmful to crack your knuckles? Knuckle cracking has not been shown to be harmful or beneficial. More specifically, knuckle cracking does not cause arthritis.
Yeah, that's
Joint
what I
cracking
said.
can result in negative pressure pulling nitrogen gas temporarily into the joint, such as when knuckles are cracked. This is not harmful.
This is what
Nor
I said.
does it
Keenan.
increase the size of your knuckle.
No, you
Oh.
added that.
You added that part.
You did not.
Dang
look at
it.
the
I
photos
said
of
it
that.
does not cause arthritis, but it does make your knuckles bigger.
You don't have to yell.
I'm right. No, just kidding. All right, you guys, we really need to get to painting. I love that.
I even did fingerprints.
I love fingerprints. That's beautiful. Let's start. That's step one. You guys nailed it. Let's move on to step two.
Real quick, could you list the colors again?
Yes, we have lemon yellow, we have sea blue, we have pine green, we have yellow ochre, and we have orchid. Great. Great.
I wonder what the tutorial said.
Who knows? No, just kidding. We know what it said. Okay. Susan says, okay, things are getting out of hand. Okay, so I'm going to start with my larger flowers first. I'm just going to do these sleeves. Let's just go for it. If I get paint on it, maybe I'll just paint on this shirt. That would be pretty.
That would be pretty.
Okay, so I'm going to do the larger flowers and I'm going to do it on the lower left-hand side. Again, you can make this painting yours. So if you want to do larger flowers up here, if you want to do it on this side, you absolutely can. Don't be afraid to go off script and do your own thing. This is your painting. So I'm going to grab a little bit of the orchid and a tiny, tiny bit of yellow, and that's how I'm going to get this really light kind of peachy color. So orchid, yellow, and I'm going to mix. Okay, so here's a dark pink. This is dark pink. And then to get a lighter pink, I'm just going to introduce some water to it. Okay, so here I have a light pink. If you want to make it a little bit more peachy, then add a tiny bit more yellow. Okay, that made it a little bit, you can even go more. It's up to you. So I have this nice, really pretty blush, and if you want to use a scrap paper to test the colors, you can. So here's the color I just mixed. That's just with orchid, yellow, and water. Okay. So I'm going to use a round 6 for this larger flower, but again, if you feel more comfortable using a 2, you can. So I'm going to take this blush color, I'm going to do the center of my flower kind of an inch in, and then I'm going to just start doing small alternating, or maybe staggered would be a better word than alternating. Staggered lines that get longer as they go out. And just remember to, yep, very nice, very nice. Okay, And then I want to work fairly quickly because if I let this dry too long, then these lines won't blend out a ton. So I'm going to dip my paintbrush in the water, hit it off the side of the cup, and I'm going to use some damp lines, and I'm just going to kind of mimic these shapes. So I'm not just taking my paintbrush and like going across the entire thing. I don't want to do that because I still want to leave some white spaces to act as a highlight. Okay. And then I'm also going to use this really light wash to do some more petals around the edge. Oh, that got really big. That's okay. I like big flowers. And then if I want a little extra punch of color, I'll take this dark pink that I already mixed and drop it in the center and do a couple swatches of that. So you can introduce another color into this flower, and that's going to give it a little bit more dimension and like color depth. So if you want to do some dark pink right in the middle, you can. If you want to do little bits of yellow, you can. I'll do that. I'm going to grab a little bit of yellow. And kind of along the edge here, I can do some yellow brush strokes. There. Oh my gosh, I love those colors. That looks so good. Okay. You guys doing good over there? Oh yeah, that looks beautiful. All right. Okay, well, now we're going to move on. Actually, I just want a little bit stronger color. Just a little stronger in the center. Okay. Okay, now we're going to move on to our side flower, which is coming, it's right next to our big one, and it's the same thing, except we are going to build up one side more than the other. This one I'm going to use just orchid in. Of course, you guys can make those color decisions. And I'm going to start with my center and then start doing alternating lines. And I'm going to build up the bottom a little bit more. Now the bottom is actually the top. Does that make sense? Because I want to have it facing, like coming out this way. So I put the bottom at the top.
That makes sense. The bottom of the flower is at the top.
Yes, yes. It's like facing down instead of facing up.
The bottom is now the top. One more time, we'll get it.
I think if I just repeat what I'm saying over and over again.
I love that. That's my favorite way to tell people what I mean.
I think you've said that to me before, Keaton, where you're like, I'm pretty sure you just said the same exact thing.
Which isn't a bad thing. It's just really fun to listen to.
I think one time you're like, you said the same thing, but this time I was listening, so it did make sense.
Yeah, I've also said that.
And then I use a little bit of water. Ooh, look at that. I love that. Let me see. Oh, yeah, look at those. Okay, I'm going to put yours in the middle here. Okay, this is Emily's. I just want to show you guys some colors. She dropped in some great green right here, and this is lovely.
Whoa.
Now, don't take your paintbrush and swish it too much because then it will turn a different color, and we want to, well, you can do whatever you want because it's your painting. But I love the colors there, and I don't want to lose those colors. So that's beautiful, and I would leave it just like that. I love how those colors are working together. Okay. So those are our big flowers, and then right by our big flowers we have two big leaves. So, sorry, I'm going to go back in and darken that once it dries. Okay, so I'm going to take my round 6, I'm going to grab some pine green, and if you want, so pine green is actually a really cold green, and that means it tends to be on the bluer side. Okay, if you want to warm up your green, and if you like more of like an olive green or a forest green, you can take a little bit of your yellow or your yellow ochre and mix it in with that green, and then that's the color you will get. So you guys can decide. If you want to make your green more blue, then add some sea blue to it. I like to do all of them. This one I'm going to make a little bit of a warmer green using my yellow ochre. And then right in between these flowers, I'm going to do a big leaf coming out. And then if you want, you can do a drop of color in there like a yellow. I'm going to move this way. And then I'm going to do a second smaller one. Now, because this paint is super concentrated, you might get some really fuzzy lines because it's so concentrated. So one thing that you can do is put the water down first and then drop in the color. Very nice, very nice. I love the shape of this flower right here. That's gorgeous. Very nice. How are you doing, Drea? Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I have to say, when you first started doing this,
Yeah.
florals were not my favorite. I think because there was not a lot of structure. There's not a lot of structure to them. But the more that I do it, the more I like them.
Yeah.
Just practice.
Florals are kind of funny in the way that like they're really loose, which is freeing to me, but can be really frustrating if you're not used to that.
Yeah.
And can I put yours in the center here? So here are her flowers. I think they're looking really great. I actually really love this bottom one. It looks a little bit more like, what's the flower I'm thinking of? Like a chrysanthemum.
Oh,
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So, and I do this all the time where once I make a flower, I'm like, I just decide what it is after I paint it. Sometimes I don't like have a flower in mind, I'll just paint it and then be like, you know what, that's actually that, and that's what I meant to do the entire time. Thank you. This is now. Okay, so we are going to do our medium flowers. We're gonna move on to step 3. You ready?
When I first did my floral hands, when I did the blue leaves right here, I made it like in a flowery shape.
You did? How did that turn out?
Pretty.
Yeah? Well, you can do the same thing if you want. Actually, let's put that blue leaf in. That can count as a large leaf. So I'm just gonna take the sea blue and I'm going to mix a little bit of water into it. And then I'm gonna kind of do my top leaf kind of right on the inside of my thumb. And you don't have to follow the thumb line perfectly. You can see I kind of put the tip like inside my thumb. That's okay. The point of this is not to go along every single ridge. You can do things within it and then kind of blend around it and it will create that line. And then kind of coming out from here, I'll do my stem. And then just leaves from there, and you can decide how big, how long, how small, up to you. I'm gonna do this a little bit bigger. And also another thing I like to do is when it's nice and wet, I'll drop in a little touch of color right at the base or the tip and just kind of let that bleed out. And just doing that alone will create some value, and I'm a big fan of that, so. Very nice. Okay, I think we're ready to move on to our mediums. So, yes.
Maybe I missed it because I was in the zone.
Sure.
But how did you do that one? Did you just let it bleed into each other, or that
Which
was
one?
like a happy accident?
This?
Those two, yeah.
Oh, I just painted over my green leaf,
Okay.
and because it was wet, it touched that, and then they bled together,
Okay.
which I think is always fun.
Yeah, it is.
It's okay to let those things happen. Oh, very nice. Oh my gosh, I love how like tight your leaves are. Very nice. Can I bring yours over? Look at this. This is Jessica's. This is gorgeous.
Oh my gosh,
yeah, look
so
at those
good.
leaves. Beautiful. Flowers.
Those leaves are incredible.
So nice. I know. Don't you love a good point on a leaf? I just love a good
I
little.
can never get a good point, and I can never get a good texture for a tree. Now what does it say on Nicole?
I started doing the painting with Emily because she always had a problem with mistakes, like in everything. And so we started doing it because you have to let go.
Yeah.
And it's been fantastic.
Oh,
She's
good.
learned to just let
Oh, I
mistakes
love that.
happen.
Yeah. And sometimes they do happen and sometimes they're great and you're so happy about it. And then sometimes you're kind of bummed, but you're just like, it's a piece of paper. I'll just put it over here and do another one. Like that's literally the worst thing that's going to happen is you just move that paper somewhere else.
Or you
Sometimes it's the trash.
Sometimes or sometimes you come back to it and you're like,
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
Yeah, most of the time you come back to it the next day and you're like, calm down. Why was I so upset? Okay, so now we're gonna do the poppy thumb leaf. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of yellow. I'm gonna grab a little bit of the orchid to kind of get an orange color. It's like a golden color. Don't do too much of the orchid. Mix it right there, okay? And then I'm gonna start with kind of a curved bottom, wide at the top, and then do the petals around it. Now someone posted a picture, I think the picture that Michelle posted, they're a little bit more unfurled in bloom. You can do it that way. You can do a totally different flower here. A tulip would work great here. I just painted this after the Tulip Festival where I probably painted 400 tulips.
Easily.
So I needed a break. But do whatever flower your heart desires. I'm kind of going around here.
You're gonna have to make a new one.
That's okay. Just add some yellow to it. There you go.
Thanks.
Just like that. Ooh, I like the color I got on that. Ooh, I love that you colored that in. That's such a great color, don't you think? I love that color. Okay, now I'm gonna do the little leaf coming, or the stem coming off the, now all I can think about is tulip. Poppy, it's a poppy. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of follow the shape of my thumb on the bottom here, and then it's gonna meet up to the tulip bottom. And the leaves of the poppy bottom, gosh dang it. The poppy leaves kind of look like, they remind me of hands a little bit. So I'm going to do, it's like the hand, think of the Grinch.
The Grinch.
Yeah,
yes.
think of the Grinch's hands. That's kind of what they look like a little bit. So it's going to be a stem out, and it's going to be a long, like a finger, long finger, another long finger, another long finger, and then they kind of shorten up at the side.
Basically, if you can't draw this stem, just draw a finger without the fingernail.
If you can't draw this leaf, I need you to draw a hand.
Yes.
Very nice.
I may have gotten overly excited when you said that this makes me think of a finger.
I know you stood up and you were ready to go. Keenan's like, I'm ready to comment on this right now.
I've been waiting all night.
I knew this was coming. Could we do a side cam of the poppy? The close-up?
Done.
Thanks.
Margaret.
Thanks. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Keenan.
You're welcome. You also look like wings. Your finger leaves.
Nah.
Okay.
No, you're right. You're right. Okay. How's everyone doing?
Good.
You doing good? Me too. I'm having a good time. How are you doing down there, Madison?
Good.
Good. You're doing great. I love that you have pencils. You're just going for it. I love that. Okay. Let's keep on going. So we are going to do a little side flower here. So this one, I'm going to kind of use that blush color again. So I'm going to grab a little bit of orchid. I'm going to grab a little bit of the yellow and just add a lot of water. And you're going to get this really peachy blush color. Okay.
Where do generals keep their armies?
Where do generals keep their armies? I don't know. Where?
I don't know either.
Keenan, you can't tell a joke until they say the answer.
Up their sleeveys.
Up their sleeveys?
I love it.
Thank you for sharing that joke with us. Okay, so I'm gonna do, so this flower is also similar to our side flower where it's facing down. So I'm going to do one big swoop on the bottom here. And this is like if the petal, you're not seeing, it's like if you're seeing the petal from the side. Okay, so that's why it's just kind of a thinner line. That's called foreshortening. So if you're thinking of your hand, this is how your brain tells you your hand looks, but this is not how our brain actually sees hands all the time. It depends on how we're looking at them. If you put your hand up this way, our hand actually is no longer 6 inches tall, which is what my hand is. I measure it. Super handy to know. Anyways, it's no longer 6 inches tall. When I put it up facing, it's only like an inch tall. But our brain, that's really hard for our brain to comprehend, which is why foreshortening is something, and perspective is something that we really struggle with in the beginning, because our brain is like, no, hands they're big. But then if you have them facing you, they're no longer big, they're short. So it's the same idea with the petals, where like when it lays flat, yeah, the petals are nice and big and round. When you take that flower, you put it on its side, we only see the side of the petal. That's why it's just a line. So I have my side petal. Now the other side of the flower, we are gonna see the full petal a little bit better. So they're narrow at the bottom and then they widen up at the top. And I'm gonna do 3 petals. So I have one, and then I have a middle one. And they run a little bit, this one's running a little bit into my leaves, that's okay. And then I have the side one.
Oh, jeez.
No, it's good, it's good.
It's big.
That's okay. That's okay.
It looks like Captain Crunch's hat.
That's what I was going for.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
I love it.
Well, now I can't even picture Captain Crunch's hat.
It might just be his whole head.
It just reminds you of Captain Crunch.
I did these in the bear, and I could not get them right.
Yeah, they're tricky. I guess the other thing I should have said this earlier, and I'm so sorry I do this to you guys, is when you do these petals, you want to keep them, you have to pretend they're going around a circle of the center, which means the middle one is going to be higher than the side ones. Okay, so they're not even across. It's like you have to pretend that there is a center that they're going out of, which they are, and so that might help too. But this is kind of a more difficult flower, so if you just want to do like a daisy there, or a rose, or a leaf, you can. You can do that. Okay, now let's put in some medium leaves. I'm gonna grab some green. I'm gonna do this ring finger right here. So this one I mix a little bit, actually I wanna do it warm. So I'm gonna grab some green, I'm gonna grab some yellow, some ochre if you want. And I'm going to just kind of do leaves stacked on top of each other. So I'm gonna start out big at the bottom here, and they're just gonna kind of like work their way up. So I have the bigger one, and they get a little bit smaller as I go up. And they work their way around up the leaf. Is that a real thing? I don't know.
It's like a vine.
Yeah, it's kind of like a vine. Yes, Drea, see, you got this.
Yeah.
And then I always like to drop in a little bit of color. Underneath there. Very nice. Ooh. Cool. Yes, yes. I love everything that you're doing. And look at your paper towel. Look at how pretty that is. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Let's see that. Let's show everybody. I think people should see that.
My sister likes coloring her paper towel.
She does? I do too. Look at the great colors you can get. Sometimes I think my paper towel turns out better than my painting, and that is okay. That happens sometimes.
Because it always turns out better than my paint.
Well, sometimes it's just more colorful. That's why I like it. It's just a lot of color, huh? Okay, so now we'll do the medium flower in the center, our middle finger here. This one is also like a pinky blush. The colors I used for the vine, I mixed the green using pine green and yellow, and then I did a drop of sea blue at the base while it was still wet. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some orchid. I'm gonna grab a tiny bit of yellow. It's gonna be a little bit darker than my other blush things. And this flower is a little bit funky. I can't tell you what flower this is. Keenan?
Is it the bleeding heart one?
It is. Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of like do narrow, here's my bottom, narrow bottom, wide top here. Okay, that's one petal. And then another petal coming up over, another petal coming up to the side, and then a little one on the back.
Okay,
So I started, here's the like where it comes from, and then I do a wide top. Yep. Very nice. And then I just do a side petal that's kind of coming up. So I stay at the bottom. So I do my bottom and I just follow basically the shape of my finger. Yeah. And then what? Yes. Yes.
Oh, it looks like a magnolia, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And then do a
Drea.
petal,
You don't
like
have to
a
make
line.
flowers up to make it sound cool, Drea.
It's a real flower.
Keenan, I think Drea should have your job. Drea, what can
I'll
you
do
start?
It. I'll do it. Fine. I've been waiting.
Wow.
I've been waiting for a year now.
I was fired before the live, now I'm fired during and
the live.
replaced
And
during
replaced
the live.
instantly. Efficient is what I call that.
Well.
Okay, so, and then I'm gonna do the right petal, and then I just do a hint of one on the back. So it's like as if the back side of the petal, I just see the top of.
Well, this got along.
Can I show you an orchid on your scratch paper? I'm trying to picture an orchid.
It's like it comes up like this, and then it. Here, I'll
Oh.
draw it.
I got you.
They come out in the spring, and then their little pollinators come out like this. So the stem comes up like this. Well, I guess this if you're looking from it from behind.
I just keep getting it confused with the iris, with an iris. Is it like an iris?
Yeah, nope. I'm getting
Oh.
confused. The orchid is like this.
Oh,
on
orchid
the
is really
thing.
round.
That's the iris, yeah.
Okay,
That comes out like that.
okay, let me see.
Yeah.
Okay, if you were to do an orchid, okay. Well, that center is a little bit intense though, but the petals are really tight here, and then they get out really wide. So you're gonna kind of do a really round shape here. I don't know if this will fit in your painting, but let's just do this. And then it has the other side. So it's almost like two little fans.
Or men talking to each other.
Drop in some color.
Men talking to each other.
Say two men talking to each other. Oh, I see that.
Or lungs,
Or kidney.
kidneys.
Okay, and then there's a petal that comes up behind here. I can fill in. I'm gonna leave a little thin white space so you guys can tell that there's another layer there. And then the center kind of pops out here and then has yellow. It looks like, I can't tell if that one is part of that. I don't think it is. So that's just a little quick orchid that you can do.
Like a bonus tutorial.
Little
Yeah.
bonus. Just a little.
Nice.
That kind of looks like one, yeah? Yeah. Aren't there orchids that look like monkeys?
I feel like this is a question for your husband.
There is. He showed me. I just realized that only he would be the one that would say yes.
100% there are orchids that look like monkeys.
All right. Okay. So now, Nicole, I want you to Google orchids that look like monkeys. I'm not crazy.
No, just Google monkey.
Oh wait,
orchid.
It does, huh?
No.
Knew it.
Okay. They do, right?
That's not real.
It's real.
Wait.
It's not photoshopped. It's a real thing. Okay. So now I'm going to do my stem on the side of my finger coming up to the base of my flower. And then just a standard leaf kind of coming off this one, since this is a flower, we kind of just get to make up. But if you want to do a specific leaf, you can.
Yeah.
You're right, Sarah.
Okay, come show everybody. I know that Emily wants to see it.
No, they're not gonna sleep tonight.
I want to see it.
They're creepy.
I don't know how you can show everyone else.
I can't
Yeah.
see.
Can't see me.
Like that.
A little monkey face in them.
They have little monkey faces. Isn't that funny? That kind of reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yeah.
Like the talking flowers. Yeah.
They were like pansies or something.
Yeah. Okay. I need to do a better job focusing. I'm really sorry. But you're doing a great job. All of you are. It's turning out really nice. Okay. So, and then I'm going to start on my pinky and my, is this your pointer finger?
Yeah.
Pointer finger. Great. Is index and pointer finger the same?
Yes.
Yes.
I've always wondered that all of my life and been so afraid to ask.
You
Yes.
were today years old.
Today I was just like, I'm going to figure this out.
That's the whole reason why you did this painting.
That's why I did this, so I can ask people what the names are for fingers. Pointer finger, index finger. We're on the same page. So we're going to do kind of a foxglove here. Keenan should be impressed that I know the name of that flower. And I'm going to...
Sure it's a flower.
Yes, I looked it up.
And that
Actually,
glove
someone
for
told me.
Foxes.
They're called foxglove. So I'm going to do a circle, smaller circle, and then they're going to get a little bit smaller as they go up. That's how they're going to start, okay?
Oh, these are the ones we said were grapes.
Yep. They're called foxglove.
Huh.
Very nice. And then while I still have that orchid on my finger, I'm going to go and do these little kind of like little bluebell, little bell-shaped flowers. These ones, it's going to be bigger on the top with a little pointy bottom that get a little bit smaller as they go down. And if you want to switch to your 2, you can. I'm just using the tip of my 6. Like that. They don't have to be evenly spaced. Very nice. Very nice.
These kind of look like upside down crowns.
They kind of do, you're right. Totally. Okay. Now we're not going to touch those, and I'm going to do little green leaves and start to fill in. I'm going to do a green leaf on the right-hand side of my pointer or index finger, and then I'm going to do green leaves kind of coming up this way. So maybe I'll switch to my round 2 since we're doing a little bit smaller. And this is now when we're in kind of, we're in stage 4 now. We're in step 4, we're doing the smaller leaves. So doing my top leaf, then my stem, then leaves going around it. And don't worry, we'll finish off these other 2, the foxglove and the bell-shaped flowers, but they're too wet right now for us to mess with, so we got to move on to something else. Okay, and then I'm going to do this leaf kind of coming out over here. Just like that. And then my middle finger where there's a flower, this one is a leaf, but I did blue. I put some blue in there. Uh-oh. Are we still live?
Yes.
Oh, does it just do random get notified when Let's Make Art goes live next? Okay, never mind. Sorry. So here is my blue leaf with my blue stem. And of course you can adjust this to yourself.
I have to remember that my hand is bigger than yours, so I'm like looking at
Yeah.
yours and trying to do your size flowers.
Yes.
And then I have empty space.
Yeah, this is where it's a little bit hard because we all have different shaped hands and fingers. So it's all going to be unique to ourselves. And that's why I'm really want to empower you guys to make those decisions for what works for your painting, because it's like what works for my painting may not work for your painting, especially in this one, because our hands are shaped differently. So don't be afraid to like just go for it. Okay, and then for my little bell-shaped flowers here, it's kind of like a stem that kind of curves up here. So I'm going to do a thin stem coming up, and then it curves up like that. And then all how they're connected is it kind of starts at the bottom and then curves up, just like that. And then I'm going to do a tiny little long leaf off of it. Very nice. And then we're going to go back to our foxglove, and what we're going to do is we are going to do the rest of the flowers. So if you're not familiar with a foxglove, they kind of have an opening like this, and then it's the back of the flower here, and they have little dots. And that's how they kind of are stacked up this way. So it's an opening, and then the back of the flower, and then dots. Can they see that pretty well?
Yep.
And they're stacked. So that's kind of what we're going for. So we're going to be painting the backs of the flowers. We already did the openings. And so I'm just going to use my round 2 and the paint that's already there. And I'm just going to kind of make a cone shape. And they will run into each other. That's okay. Just like that. Very nice.
When I first started painting this, I kept telling Mommy to make up her own signature for a painting.
Oh, really?
And I did too.
What does yours look like? And B, that's perfect. It kind of looks like a butterfly too. That's so great.
I got it from my mom.
You did?
That looks like an upside down, backward B, doesn't it?
It does.
A little E.
A little E, that's so cute. This is Emily's signature here. Look how cute. Look how cute it is. That's so great. I love that. Did your mom come up with the signature?
I did.
Yeah?
She did it all on her own.
That's so great. Okay. That's so cute. Okay, we are going to finish off our foxglove by putting the stem in. So we put our backs, the back of the flowers in, and now I'm going to do a little stem kind of coming up. And it might, depending on how close your flowers are to each other, some of them might be so close that you don't see the stem through them. Some of them you might have a little bit of space to put a little bit of a hint of a stem here. Just like that. And then on foxgloves, the top of them are usually always green and then little green buds, and then that's where the flowers come out from. So I'm going to continue the stem up here and then just do tiny little buds like that. And I'll do some leaves off of them. I know this isn't the correct leaf, but that's okay. Okay, and now this is where you kind of look at your paper and you, yes.
My editor signature.
I love it. Uh-huh.
And the E.
That looks so good. You guys are great with your signatures. So, when you now start to just fill in some space. So for me, I'm kind of looking at like, okay, where do I have some white space? Where can I fill it in? I have a lot of white space down here. And so I think I'm gonna do little berry flowers or like bud flowers. Can you hand me the yellow? Thank you very much. So I'm gonna grab the yellow. And I just kind of do like little dots coming out. These ones are a little bit more like grapes, but there are flowers that look like this too, I feel. Like that. And then, or you can do small little berry, like purple buds, like in between here. Just wherever you feel like you need to fill a little bit more space. This is where you need to take a step back from your painting and see where there's some white spaces that need to be kind of filled in. And I need to do my wrist. Maybe I'll just do some big leaves kind of coming off here.
I like that you're holding your sleeve. All right, I need some help with space fillers because I have a lot of space.
Okay. So, and then this is how I actually did the project, where look at the space that needs to be filled and think of that shape. And then once you have an understanding of what that shape is, it will help you decide what to put in it. So for example, with like round areas, you're like, perfect flower, I can put flowers. If it's long and skinny, then maybe you should think of leaves. Or if it's long and skinny, then think of flowers that have that natural shape, like hollyhocks, foxgloves, that kind of thing. So let's see here. Okay, so here we have a pretty round shape that you can, what I would do is I would do green in between here because we have two colors going on. Oh, I love that. So since we have two like pinks going on, I like to break it up with some green. And then I would probably do a flower here.
What's the squiggly flower?
Oh, you want to do a squiggle flower?
Yeah.
Okay. Squiggle flowers are my favorite. Have you guys tried squiggle flowers? They're the best. So, and that's what I called them. This is a flower that I do just to fill space. So I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to grab a color and I'm going to do a scribble. And it's going to be like just a scribble where you're like, blah, 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 scribble. Okay, there's my scribble. And then I'm going to rinse my brush and just go along the outside of the scribble and do those kind of petal shapes like this. Okay? And then I like to drop in some color right when it's nice and wet and let that blend out to what I just put down. And then that kind of looks like a random weird flower. That's fun. They're called scribble flowers. So I'll do that again. We don't use it in this project, but we've used it in other ones. I think maybe the December florals and the,
You did it for the flamingo.
Did I? Yes, I did do it for the flamingo. I just think they're the best. I love it because I get to do a big drop of color right in the middle and it just goes, it's the best part. Yeah, very nice. Yes. Oh, somebody said to do a vine around the wrist. That'd be cool. Okay. So look and see where if you need to fill in any spaces. I'm also just going to add the center of the flower on my little upside down one right here. Just a little yellow dot. And then I think we're ready to move on to the very last step, which is kind of blending out the areas to kind of like make it feel a little bit more connected. And this is where we would use, this is where implied lines come into play. So we don't have to take a really dark line and go around our hand. What we can do is just kind of blend around these shapes within the silhouette. And just the washes that we make by doing that will create an implied line. So you don't have to fill up every white space. Don't feel like you have to do that. I'm just taking my damp brush and just barely moving some color around just so it fills up some of the space. Now be careful when you do this part though, because if you don't rinse your brushes in between blending colors, then it can eventually turn into a muddy color because we have a lot of different colors going on. Also, if you have some parts of your painting that are super, super wet, then wait to do this part, because right when you touch water to it, all of that color will hit that water. So I like to wait till my painting is mostly dry, and then I'll go in. And then that way the color that blends out is just a little bit of color, and it still keeps a lot of the shape. So you just kind of start to blend in around here. Just like that. I love that you added splatters to yours. Can I add splatters to mine? Yeah? I'm gonna do it. Okay. Let me put the stems on these little buds first. And there's my hand. And I'm gonna do some splatters around it. So if you wanna do splatters, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to take my paper towel and cover my hand since it's wet. And then I'm gonna get my paintbrush wet. I'm gonna grab some color. And I'm just gonna hit my paintbrush on my finger, and it's going to create splatter marks. Now, if you don't want to do this part, that's just okay. And I'm going to do a darker pink. What do you think? And if you want them nice and big, then you need to get a lot of water on your brush. I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing great.
Yeah, I want more though. Let's do more. Let's do blue. I love how your blue splatters turned out. Oh yeah. Ta-da!
That looks awesome.
Keenan loves it.
I love it.
I like that. I'm going to do actually a little bit more closer to the hand. Sans paper towel. There we go.
To hide the paper towel mark.
Yeah,
It was perfectly square.
it was perfectly square. There we go. Okay. Maybe some bigger ones too. Oh yeah. Do you like it? I'm really glad I did that. Okay,
I'm still going.
that's all right. I'll give you guys a little bit longer and then we're gonna show them wherever we are on it, okay? Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yellow, I should do yellow. Brittany, good idea. Let's do some yellow in there. And then also, just so you guys know, when you blend things out, sometimes when you blend them, you lose their shape. If that bothers you, just wait for it to dry and then go back in and redefine those shapes. So you just do another layer right on top of it. But wait till it dries. If you do it while it's wet, then this color that you're putting in will just blend out because it's wet. Keenan, have we figured out how we're going to show?
I was actually just trying to see if I could connect to the sling with
Oh, yeah.
but I don't think I can show using my phone.
Should I just do the overhead one at a time, maybe?
Yeah, but slower than last.
Yeah, last week I was like,
The
bam.
quick fire. Because I don't think my transporting that will work again.
No, because that broke last time.
It was bad.
Okay, so I'll start. Okay.
There's
We're gonna start with-
Sarah's finished project.
Okay, this one's Drea's. She's still working on it, but I took it from her. Love the colors. She's got a little bit of blending still to do, but I think it looks really great. Love it, love it, love it. And your hand is bigger than mine. Okay, here we have Emily's. And look at this multicolored
Whoa,
flower down here.
that.
And then look at that flower.
Did she do the green
That one. I love
Yeah.
that one.
She did a green thumb.
Nice.
It looks so good. I love the texture lines right here. Excellent job. Excellent, excellent. Okay, now we have Jessica's. Beautiful.
Oh, the lilac.
Yeah. Oh, I love that in there.
My favorite flowers.
Are they?
So good.
Yeah. Yeah, they're so fun. Oh, that looks so great in there.
Those two initial leaves you did though were my favorite part.
Yeah.
These ones right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you turned this into a tulip.
Tulips are my nemesis, so I like
Oh, it looks so good. Madison, can I see yours? Oh, she's she's doing her signature. This is very serious business. Okay,
Oh, wait, which side is it?
this side?
That's the hand.
Okay.
Double-sided.
This is Madison's. Look at that. She did two hands. We got hearts. We got paint. We got pencil. I love it. Can I flip it over and see the other? And this is the back.
Make sure they see her signature.
So good. We got a signature there. And
I love you. It says, I love you.
yes. And then she did thumbprints, which are really cool actually, because you can see her skin texture in them.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Good job.
We'll be washing those hands for days.
Yes, you will. I'm really sorry about that. Okay. Thank you guys so much for painting with me. I had so much fun with you hanging out and just creating stuff. Thank you so much to our guests for coming and painting with us. I loved having you guys on here. If you painted with us, share it. I know it's so scary putting your stuff out there, but you have to remember that we don't put our stuff out there to compare it to what's already out there. We put our stuff out there because, one, we can learn by looking at other people's art and how they approach the same project. And two, when you are courageous, other people are then courageous. It gives them permission to try something new. So be that for somebody else and just be like, you know what? If they can start painting at whatever age, so can I, because I firmly believe that everybody can and should do this. It's just a good time, right? Totally. Okay, so if you're on Instagram, you could tag us, Let's Go Make Art, or hashtag Let's Make Art. If you're on Facebook, you can share it with those same tags, or if you're not comfortable posting it to your personal feed, we have a wonderful watercolor group on Facebook that's meant just for sharing art called Let's Make Art Watercolor. And it's a lot of fun, and it's a safe space. And Thursday, we are doing Nicole's Live. Yeah, and so this is a project that me and Nicole did this project together using the Tombow pens. It's a monogram wreath. So that will be Thursday, 7:15. We'll be here. So join us painting. Even if you don't have the lettering supplies, you can still do this with whatever you have. So I think that's all I got to say, right?
Yep.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Bye.